Hi there, I'm Mary Susie from Bead Me a Story, and today I'm going to show you how to make this lentil bead chain that is connected with some additional seed beads. And I have put out a lentil bead chain before that was connected in a completely different way. So I wanted to show you this one because this one has beautiful texture. I had gotten some really lovely Czech seed beads, Czech seed bead size 6 to use with this, and so I've done a couple things. I'm going to show you how to make this just as a basic necklace that has its own clasp, and that's just one thing. But I wanted to show you this absolutely gorgeous chain that I put together, and this is using our ALS beaded chain with these absolutely gorgeous Czech beads in this one, along with the lentil chain, and I've just connected it with little wire wrapped stars. So hit your bead selection for whatever chain you decide to make. And one more thing I want to point out, I will point this out in the video, but on this one I used copper jump rings, and the copper, you notice, are the jump rings that are going through the beads here. And on this, you'll notice that the silver frost jump rings are the jump rings that are going through the beads. You need jump rings for this project that are going to run small, 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 or very true to size in the 20 gauge jump rings, because if they have the slightest bit of thickness more than they need to have, then they're not going to fit through the very tiny lentil beads that we're using to make this. And these lentil beads are true seed beads, so you can see the holes are very tiny, and so the jump rings need to be just perfect in 20 gauge, and if not, you can always go down to 22 gauge and either the copper or the steel if you need to. So really want you to make this chain your own, but I wanted to also show you how gorgeous this chain can be to mix with other very simple chains that are small. This is a very long 40-inch plus necklace, and you can see I've put a couple other chains into it to add interest and break up the sections with the little stars. These stars were just something I had in my bead collection. Go to your bead collection, see what you've got, add a little wire wrapping on the ends, and then link all your chains together. Or if you prefer to, you can just make this as a basic chain. So I'm going to call this a 20-inch plus chain that is in the kit. But this will probably, if you did everything 100% perfect, then this would probably get close to 26 inches. But as I said, because the holes on the lentils are so very finicky, I'm just going to say it's 20 inches plus, okay? So let's go ahead and get started making this project. Okay, so to create this new lentil bead chain, I just want to show you that I'm using these lentil beads that have 2 holes. So there's a hole on either side. Let me pull out a couple so I can make sure to get one with a good hole on it. The most important thing you need to know when you make this chain is that if you are using anodized aluminum jump rings, you need to be very choosy about which ones you use. I am using the Silver Frost in this because Silver Frost tends to run the skinniest of all the colors. Okay, so in the other chain that I made, I used copper, and I would say you could also use steel. So if you really run into a pinch with this, use one of those materials as opposed to anodized aluminum. And you could even drop down to a 22 gauge as opposed to a 20 gauge. Because these holes are very, very small. Okay, so this should fit in here quite well. You may have a bead or two that just won't work, or where you break the finish off of it. But for the most part, this worked, and it's mainly because these Silver Frost jump rings run so very skinny. Okay, so I've closed my 18 gauge 3/16 jump rings, and I also could use our 7.4 millimeter O-rings for this step. They are exactly the same size, so either one's gonna work. You can use the rubber or the aluminum. I have my lentil bead, and I've gone ahead and pre-opened and pre-closed my jump rings. So these jump rings, the 18 gauge 3/16 are pre-closed, and the 20 gauge 1/8 inch jump rings I'm using here are pre-opened, okay? So basically all I'm gonna do is pick up a jump ring. I'm gonna pass through one side of the bead and pick up another jump ring. And then I will close. The other thing too, if you kind of lay out your work and you have all your jump rings in front of you, a lot of times if you see one of the holes in one of the lentil beads might run a little smaller, you can kind of watch your jump rings and see if you have one that looks a little skinnier than some of the others. Okay, so I'm taking my second jump ring and I'm passing through the exact same 3 parts on the opposite side. Okay, so see how I went through both jump rings as well as through the whole of that bead. Okay, and that is all there is to making these components. So now you have a nice little component with a ring on either end to attach to, okay? And we are going to make a whole bunch of those. So make all of those up, use all your lentil beads. We're gonna make a whole bunch of those, and then basically what we're gonna do is link them together, okay? So, in order to link them together, let me get these jump rings out of my way. We're done with those because we've made all our pieces here. And now I'm gonna bring in my shiny silver, or my color B jump ring, in other words. And then I've brought in some size 6 Czech beads. And these seem to work the best. Remember that size 6 Czech beads are gonna run smaller than Japanese seed beads. So this is one to go ahead and pull out those Czech beads that you have. They do tend to have a little bit smaller hole, but we're using 20 gauge jump rings, so it should work, but I am specifically using the etched Czech beads in this project, so keep that in mind. The size of these beads is gonna vary a little bit more than Japanese seed beads too. So I mention that because, you know, sometimes if you use a very large one on one side, you can opt for a smaller one so that everything fits nicely on the other side. So here's what we're gonna do with this. We're gonna take our jump ring and we'll pick up a bead, and then we're gonna pass through one of the lentils and through the other lentil component, okay? So we're just joining 2 together. Gonna close that jump ring, and now we're gonna take another jump ring, and I'm gonna pick up another bead. Okay, and I purposely picked up a small one. Not that I had a real fat one on this other side, but anyway. So when we want the seed bead to sit on the opposite side, so you can see this is on the side that's away from me. So I'm gonna pass through here, but remember I have to come up here. So whichever side I'm starting from is the bead's gonna end up towards me. And I'm just letting this come around, okay? And then I will close this second one. And I'm gonna keep linking together my entire chain in this same way. So we're just gonna use 2 jump rings. We're gonna pick up a bead, pass a jump ring through, pick up a bead, pass a jump ring through. And the only other thing that you need to know about this particular connection that I'm doing with the lentils is that when we do this next connection, so you can see I'm picking up the section that I'm working with, and then I'm picking up a new lentil component. Okay, so when I do this next one, I want the bead and jump ring, the second bead and jump ring, to be the opposite, on the opposite side. So I'm talking front and back here. So you can see that this seed bead sits in front of this jump ring with seed bead, okay? And that's on the right side. So this time I want the left side to sit in front. When I say that, here, I'll move it like this. So see, the right side is up, left side is down. Now I want these to be in reverse. I want the left side to be up and the right side to be down, okay? So when I pick up my bead and pass through, I just need to pay attention to that. So I can see I need, as I pass through like this, I need to make sure I am in front of this other side. Okay. So it's not hard. This is just a new connection. I think the lentil beads are always super fun. They just create a new look, new texture. It's a little bit larger bead to work with. They're really pretty. And this is all we're gonna do. I mean, this is very simple stuff here. You just need to pay attention to whether you're connecting on the top or bottom. Okay, so this side, I knew that the left side needed to be back. Okay, or the bead that was towards me this time was going to need to be behind. So I went ahead and put that one through first. And then I'm going to pick up a bead. Okay, and I know this one needs to be in front. So I'm just going to pick it up from, I'm going to pass through on the opposite side. Okay, and just pass through there. This is a real simple chain. Not too much to think about, but you do want to alternate that. And that's going to make it kind of stay a little straighter because you're not, you know, it doesn't allow it to turn one way or the other directly. Okay, so that's all there is to this chain. I am going to use this chain to work into another chain. So whenever I show you one of these smallest chains, just keep in mind you can break up these portions, or you can just do, you know, small portions at a time and work them in with other chains. But if you do want to finish, start or finish from this chain, then we can basically just fill in the ends here. Now keep in mind, because we're not joining two lentils together, we can't really pay attention to which side the bead is sitting on until we add another side to this. Okay, but if I want to finish this on the end, so I can see my top one, I want the bead to be away from me, and the bottom one, I want the bead to be towards me. So I'll just kind of lay that in place. And then basically all I'm going to do is take a smaller jump ring, a 20 gauge 7/64, and I can actually use that to work just the way a lentil bead would have, okay? And I can just separate those beads that way. This is small enough where the beads can't slide through this. That's basically all you're looking for. And if I want to, I can add a lobster clasp here, or whatever kind of clasp I want to use. So I could add my clasp here, but I'll make this end appear to be the end that we can connect our clasp to. So I can just add as many jump rings as I want to link to. Okay, so that's basically it, you know, just a couple extra links on one end, your lobster clasp on the other end. But as I said, you know, I show you how to do the ends, but what I'd really like to see you do is take this chain and mix it with some of the other chains. Specifically, I just did the ALS beaded chain, which is a spiraling chain. Looks beautiful with this. I did it in all the same colors. So you can break this up into different segments, or you can make a chain where you have, you know, maybe a smaller chain that goes around the back of the neck, and you can, you know, kind of put these together, show the different textures together. So all sorts of ways to do this. These are really fun to make because they're very simple chains, and they're pretty quick to put together. So I hope you've enjoyed this project, and be sure to like and follow us on YouTube, and all of these supplies, kits and beads and jump rings and all this stuff is available at beadmeastory.com. Thanks so much.